people. So today I will be covering gate 10. I think I mentioned in my last video that it would be gate 58. The gate 58 transits starting on December 25th through, I would say, about the 31st. So with that being said, let's hop right into the Kwan Yin Book of Changes. The Kwan Yin Book of Changes is the feminine version of the I Ching that I like to cover the transits from, and in connection with the I Ching, I cover it from the gene keys. So this live reading will be of the Kwan Yin and the Kwan Yin I Ching. So we are going to start with hexagram 10. So hexagram 10 is known as the hexagram of behavior. It's known as the hexagram of treading. Here it's called treading softly, correctness. And it is ruled by the elements of air over lake. So before I hop into the reading, also know that I will be pulling a card from this deck, the Herb Crafter's Tarot. I originally had a card from the Earth Warriors Oracle deck, but the alignment today, it's a card from here. So to start, it says the hexagram addresses political correctness in the matriarchy. To bridge the gap between greater and lesser, the labyrinth of air above, and the joyous daughter of the lower trigram, correctness is required. The hexagram also refers to a daughter treading on the patience of the mighty universe, in the sense that all women are daughters of the great mother's forbearance. That the innocent risk the wrath of power is not perilous in this case, because she occurs without defiance, and a daughter's spirit of simplicity and laughter, the universe treats her kindly. So that is the reflection. And the center, it says the innocent approach power and they are welcomed. Treading on the serpent's tail, correctness, and she does not strike. The daughter walks behind a powerful serpent and trips on her tail. The serpent, recognizing the child's smallness, does not strike. She accepts the daughter gently as she would her own young. In matriarchy, women are powerful and treat each other with respect, correctness, and a sense of humor. Gentleness welcomes and prospers. So here is a reminder of gentleness, and I love that in the Kwan Yin and the feminine version of the I Ching, this is not just treading, but it's a reminder to tread softly and to be gentle. And with being gentle, we can be correct. So in the human design reflection, it's written in a more masculine structure, but it's written from the idea of treading in like a little more rigid behavior, how we choose to act. And also a little more neutral, like behavior and how we choose to act. But here it's almost giving us guidance along with the hexagram of acting correctly. So the reflection, it says, the labyrinth over the lake, treading, powered, tempered with correctness, values all. What's so cool is I am literally above ocean level. If you look over here, the ocean is actually right across here. So I'm literally air over lake, which is dope. So it says, the labyrinth and the lake are two levels of consciousness unequal in skills and power. Yet the lake is part of the creative universe, as the daughter is part of the mother, and all women are part of the goddess. In matriarchy, there are differences between women. All are not equal in wisdom or accomplishments, but each has something to offer for the good of the community. These are spiritual differences. They change as women grow, and they are recognized and accepted. When inner spiritual development is the criteria for position within matriarchy, outer differences have no meaning and they disappear. Inner development changes and grows in every woman as she seeks and learns. The matriarchy values each sister for her skills and praises her for her attainments. It says, order in the community, affirmation, correctness, and respect emerge. So here it's a reminder that there are literally different levels of consciousness, and we all bring different things into community. And it's our understanding of that. We know who to be in relationship with. We know who to help. We know who can help us, and so forth. So now let's go into the movement of the lines. I'm gonna wait because it's pretty loud. I did not pick the best place. I'm still figuring out where is good places to record, but I love recording outside. But I do have to remember that I am soft-spoken. I'm going to try to, I guess the volume is all the way up. I am soft-spoken, so you might have to listen to this at full volume. So it says, movement, 9 at the beginning. Correct task, she grows. The daughter is not yet fully part of the matriarchy, but of her youth and inexperience. In acting simply, she remains free of requirements. If she makes no demands on others, she incurs no debts. She does not yet know her own needs, but floats with the flowing waters. A woman competent at her task is happy to remain a simple daughter for a while. She is connected to her roots and makes progress in spiritual growth. Though she is not yet active in government, she is gaining skills that soon allow her to be. Her work is basic but is positive and correct. She progresses to higher levels and she grows. So the keynote for the first line is always going to be foundations, seeking, and learning. So here in the first line of the life theme of treading slowly, or softly rather, we have the energy of someone who is okay with doing basic or menial tasks because they know these tasks are, one, important for the development of the earth and the matriarchy, but also are going to help her develop her skills and also where she is meant to be in the wheel of life. And I think that's so beautiful because oftentimes we can want power, higher positions, but we have to be able to show that we can be responsible for the small to handle the great. So to connect this to my personal life, I feel like my time with my daughter, especially the first 3 years when she was at home, was so beneficial for me to build my skills for my small business, for my website, for learning human design, because those skills is what I'm now able to build upon now and also bring it towards matriarchy, when before I wasn't able to do those things. So it's beautiful because I felt like I was able to honor where I was in the moment. And also it kind of reminds me of when we are teenagers and we're just taking jobs for the first time, and those positions that we have may feel like remedial, like retail and stuff, but we know that like there's beauty in those positions. For example, I was in Trader Joe's yesterday, and when I was in Trader Joe's, I always am greeted with like the most wonderful, helpful people who have chosen to take the role of being clerks in the store. And like for someone else who may look down upon that role, it's a reminder that like we need people to do these things. And also like it seems like it's a fun job working at Trader Joe's. I can't even lie. Like, so it's just a reminder that every role is important within the matriarchy, and every position can change. You can be someone who is in what is deemed as more powerful or position and need to take a role doing something that is more of service or more administrative or more behind the scenes. So consider that when we are considering gate 10. So now let's go into the second position. And the second position here is known as the Hermit line, and it's all about introspection. So let's see what the energy of the life theme of behavior looks like in the line of the second position, or hermiting. Treading quiet paths, the wise woman learning, correctness. The line speaks of a solitary wise woman who chooses retreat from the community. She asks no considerations and has no ambition, only seeks to develop and learn. Her life is calm and even, and by her contentment she remains free of obligation. She gives what she can of her knowledge, and her simplicity benefits all. And I would say that during that postpartum period, I spent a lot of time in isolation because I knew I wasn't really able to be of the best service to others. And I really needed to focus on serving the community that I have built, which was taking care of my daughter, which was at the time caring for my partner and handling household responsibilities. I knew that that was going to be the nucleus of what I was going to be able to build on. So I wanted to focus on that, and I do not regret making that my focus because I see that my daughter is so creative and so bubbly and so happy, and I think that was what was important at the time. Her happiness is always important. What I'm saying is what was important at the time was focusing in on her and home. So, and it says she acts no considerations and has no ambition. So outwardly, especially when women become mothers, it can look like the mom is not ambitious or she's not trying to do anything, but in reality, she's ambitious towards focusing in on what she can manage, because she knows that being in community requires being able to extend a hand to others. And I knew at the time I didn't really have much support, but I also wasn't able to give. And every time I was in environments that people wanted to help, they also needed to receive from me. And it was very difficult because I knew that I couldn't give in that way. I was actually in a space where I genuinely needed that consideration, that support, that nurturing. But again, when you're in matriarchy, it is a transactional relationship to a degree. And unless you have people who genuinely are able to support you because they are well established themselves, you are likely going to have to be in a position where you are doing for them as they're doing for you. And the postpartum period especially, that is already difficult because you are already taking care of somebody while you're still trying to rebuild yourself. All right, so it says she gives what she can of her knowledge, and her simplicity benefits all. So again, tying it back to my personal experiences, I was able to create from home. I started building passive income streams. I started creating content about human design on my YouTube channel. I covered all the gates and lines that are in this book by line on my YouTube, and my YouTube, I did it in shorts. So this way, I figured this is the best way I can help or share information with community without the pressure of having to physically show up because I was so exhausted. So if you are interested in looking into that and learning human design, then feel free to check out that, because of course these videos are much longer and I know that people are limited with their time. And if you ever want to go back to a particular transit, you can go on my YouTube and check out that transit. And the way you would do that, you would just type in "with love Cole," and then you would put, for example, hexagram 10.2, and the hexagram will pop up. All right, so now let's go into the third line. The third line is going to be regarding trial and error, mutation, experimentation, falling forward and really moving through mistakes, and sometimes not going through mistakes, but being able to master. So the third line is really, I want the word, it's like on the tip of my tongue. It's unpredictable energy. That's a perfect way to put it. It's unpredictable energy, and with it being unpredictable, you can have the most amazing transformation and you can have the biggest setbacks in the third line. So let's see what it says in the Kwan Yin. 6 in the third line, she commits herself past her skills. She is incorrect. A woman takes on more than she can complete and is guilty of folly or recklessness. Such a woman does not succeed without help from her sisters. By leaving her task unfulfilled, she places the matriarchy under greater burdens. Her sisters finish her work by neglect of their own. The woman loses the respect of her sisters who depend on her, and matriarchy suffers for her incorrectness. So, as we can read, and very blatantly it says here, 10.3 is about being incorrect. It's about not being able to manage what is on your plate. It's about extending yourself too far, which in many ways I still did during my postpartum period, and it left incorrectly. It caused incorrectness. So I'll give you an example. I started a lot of different projects around the same time, and instead of just allowing myself to do one project and completing it, I still would complete things, but I found myself spreading myself thin. So even right now, there's so much like lifestyle content of like little bits that I can share that I have not edited, that's in my drafts, that's still incomplete, that leaves the story that I'm sharing on my YouTube channel feel like all over the place. So I do want to work with that. I have a lot of guilt around it because it's so special to me as well. And I kind of just shifted into the shorts, and I have all this long form content that I think could really be helpful. And because I realized timing is everything in life, who knows if I shared something that was really beneficial for me a year ago, how it could have helped another mom. So consider that when you are a mom, when you just are a person who is creating and developing things, the timing in which you choose to put things out. Because I actually saw someone post on Threads, I think this was my friend Jala, that late is almost the same as it not happening at all. Because if you post something late, you could have missed the audience that was meant to see it, and it's basically the same as it not happening because it changes that other person's fate. So if you realize that we're all so very interconnected and our behavior and our timing impacts other people, you would do the thing in the moment that you need to do the thing. That is one thing I've learned from this experience, is that sometimes you have to do the thing tired. Sometimes you have to take a step back from other things to get things done. And sometimes you just have to be present. Like, you just have to just allow. Again, all of this is part of life. No one's perfect. So it's natural to have moments of incorrectness because, look, I have a lot of lessons. And the third line is about learning as well. It's like learning through experience and gaining from what those mistakes were, right? As Tabitha Brown calls it, it's oopsitunities on tab time. I watched a lot of tab time with my toddler. So having oopsitunities can definitely help you move forward. All right, so now I'm going to go back to the Kwan Yin, and we are going to read the fourth line. So the fourth line profile is all about interpersonal relationships. So we are now going to, it's so loud and I'm so soft-spoken. We are now going to look at the life theme in the fourth line. So the life theme of behavior in the fourth line says, she treads on the serpent, correctness brings no harm. This is a sensitive action, but the superior woman has the power to prevail. She blends certainty with care and correctness, unlike the woman in the third line. She is sure of her goal, and having attempted no more than she can handle, she succeeds. So treading on the serpent is being able to move with the wheel of life. It's also, you can think of the idea of the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros is the snake that eats its head, and that's being able to work with circadian rhythms. That's being able to move through day and night and work with the time frame that you have. And it says, by being able to tread on the serpent, by being able to move with the wheel of life, we are correct and we bring no harm to others. Also, I would say the difference between the third line and the fourth line, the third line has the energy of narcissism, which is being able to not seeing what you're truly capable of in your human body and feeling like you can do so much more or be so much more. And the fourth line, the interpersonal line, has a level of humility. This is what I'm able to do. This is what I'm able to accomplish. And I think the beauty in life is knowing that we can have personal needs. They're mowing so much today. I'm gonna try to get closer. But we can have personal needs, but we also need the right timing to allow what our desires are to come to fruition. All right, hello. So now let's move into the fifth line. I'm gonna kind of rush through the end because I do need to head out soon. And also the mower's right here. The fifth line, determination, correctness, and awareness. This is the hexagram's key line. So this is like the exaltation. The superior woman is strong and determined. She faces perils, but she meets them well. By her correctness, awareness, respect, and persistence, she finds in herself what she needs. So the fifth line is saying, like, I'm still gonna move towards my desires. I'm still gonna try my best. I'm gonna work within the timing I can and through life's obstacles. And within that, you can receive your desires. It's all about acting with correctness. According to that, you will be acting correctly. And it says she finds in herself what she needs. It's also being able to find it within yourself. Having the right behavior within your own individual knowing. And right now we're transiting gate 61. So through your inner awareness, through your personal truth, you're able to take the right action. All right, I could stop screaming a little bit. So the fifth line is about values. It's about universalizing information. It's about making things practical and what is best for the whole. So being determined, correct, and aware in our behaviors is what is best for the whole. Now, 9 at the top, the sixth line. The sixth line is about embodiment. It's also a level of detachment. It's about integration. And it's not so much about telling people what they need to do or how they need to act, like the fifth line is with values. It's more about showing them through who you choose to be in the world, being the role model. So it says the superior woman acts correctly, fulfillment. At completion of her work, the superior woman reviews her actions. She has behaved correctly and simply and has met fulfillment. So by being able to act correctly, having that determination, you can look back and say, wow, I feel really fulfilled. It's about how you feel, your inner world, because you're able to show up in your true nature. And again, gate 10 has a lot to do with your true nature. It has a lot to do with your personal development, your purpose, how you choose to show up in the world through your actions. So I love this reflection from the Kwan Yin on treading. And with that, I have a quick card reading. And I pulled the card Plantain, which is Ace of Water. And again, the energy here is air over lake. So we have Ace of Water, and this is Plantain, which is also air over lake in the card. And it's funny because I did not pull this card for this, but it was the one I had on me. So I just figured, why not? And it's so aligned. So it says, follow your heart, trust your instincts and intuition. So there go again, treading has a lot to do with your intuition, balancing that with your instincts, your gut reactions and what needs to be done in the moment. Your capacity for love is limitless. So in the shadow frequency of narcissism, love is truly just about doing what is for you. But in the city of behavior, it is about being. It's about just being who you are. And that is when you're able to align your intuition with your instincts. And that is when you're able to be of love, like be a person walking of love. And people who have gate 10 in their incarnation cross, at least some people, they have the right angle or left angle cross of the vessel of love, because gate 10 is all about just being a person of love. It is the height of summer. A gently flowing river is lined with lush vegetation. At the edge of the bank, a healthy plantain spreads its strong green leaves along the ground in all directions. The tiny white flower petals form the shape of a halo around each stalk. Bees are drinking water from the riverbed. The air is cool with a breeze from the glacier above. New experiences can cause a wellspring of feelings. Open your heart to spiritual guidance. Take a fresh look at an ancient calling of the soul. Plantain is prolific yet powerful medicine that is easily missed. To embody the love you desire, you may need to see it in a new light. Mixed with a bit of water, this unassuming weed gently heals wounds from bites and stings. A simple, compassionate approach to a surge of emotions can have the most meaning. Small strings form a rib-like structure within the leaves that give it strength. Nourish your emotions and trust your feelings. The threads of joy point the way to wisdom. So it says crafting with plantain. It says seek out the plantain in nature. Let it lead your walk. Look for auguries and signs on your journey. It says make plantain ice cubes to have on hand for healing wounds that sting. Shape plantain flower stems into hearts and leave them as gratitude offerings. So again, it's about looking for signs. It says you can seek it out in nature. I'm right by the water, so I actually want to look for them and see if I find them. But that is the card. It's called the Ace of Water. It's an ace, so it's a beginning card in this deck, the Herb Crafter's Tarot. I absolutely love this deck. I would highly recommend checking it out. And also, even though we are now in gate 61, consider your behavior. Consider how your inner world impacts your outer world. And I will see you in my next video, because the lawn mower is back on, or the lawn blower. He's using the blower, but they were mowing earlier. The grass smells so fresh over here. All right, peace.